Welcome everybody to the Talking Games podcast. I am your host, Taye, as usual. I'm here with, as usual again, my good friend Arshas from, I was going to say South Africa, but I don't know if I should be giving out personal details like that.
Ty, just your audio is a little bit distorted, eh?
Is it distorted? Maybe it's,
Yeah, just a little bit. I can hear you, but like there's a distortion there.
Okay, let me reduce this. I don't know how to do it. Maybe it's just the internet in general that's taking
There you go. There you go. That's a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, welcome to the Talking Games podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Taye, and I'm here with my good friend Oshers from the south of Africa, where there's a bit of controversial things going on. We were speaking about it earlier. But anyways, let's not get into that. There's no civil war going on between the Africans. We're just going to talk about games, maybe even the civil war between the Xbox guys that has it kind of simmered down a little bit, but it seems like it's kicking off again potentially, with some people going back and forth about some of the news that they're hearing. Canwell will join us shortly, hopefully, and Rome might make an appearance. Who knows? But so far, it's just gonna be me and Oshus, and we're going to talk some games. But before we do that, we'll make this real quick. Oshus 007 has been released, and it's currently 87 on Metacritic. Everyone is saying it's the best James Bond game, so better than GoldenEye. And my question to you is, are you looking forward to playing this game, or have you played this game yet?
No, dude, like it's not really my cup of tea. Hey, I like IO stuff, but I've never been a Hitman guy, so I can't say I'll play it because I'm an IO stan or an IO fan. In terms of the game, look, the game looks good. I've seen some gameplay. I've seen like a Digital Foundry showcasing the technology in the game. Overall, it looks good, but like I'm not a generic. To me, I don't know. Like I'm one of those people that's very pedantic about like your the character that you play. For me to be into your game, your protagonist has to be interesting. And like the James Bond character, man, looks so bland to me. It's like everybody complains about everything being inverted commas woke, but there's nothing worse, in my opinion, than the bland, a generic a Caucasian protagonist from the 90s, and this is what this looks like to me. Like there's nothing really interesting about the character. Like he's not even like, there's so many variants of James Bond, and he just looks like a dude. He doesn't look like a spy to me. He doesn't look like interesting. Like there's I would go as far as saying that Shepard had elements of being like a spy in Mass Effect. And he, as a character, the default character design is nice. It's interesting. So long story short, no, I'm not really looking forward to it. It's not a game that I'm going to pick up or am interested in playing. It just looks mad to me.
All right, fair enough. But have you seen the reviews though, or are you just going off the trailers?
No, I've seen I've seen quite a few reviews. I watched there's an Australian guy that I always go to. I forget his name now, but I watched a couple of reviews. But the one that I really enjoyed was just watching Digital Foundry display the technology that's in the game. Because their reviews are more about the tech, less about the actual gameplay and what you'll think.
Yeah.
Look, all the anti-wokies, like whatever they gripe is it's false. I mean, like it's just been proven already. Like they were complaining about the models don't look great. Then there are sexy characters in the game, so that's not it. That's not what I'm complaining about. But yes, I've seen the gameplay. It looks good. Like the gameplay looks good. It looks solid, but it's like Indiana Jones. It's just not for me.
Okay, fair enough. Kenwell, we're talking about 007, 87 Metacritic. Right now it's hot. One of the things I said back in the days was, Xbox should have reached out to IO and said, hey, we got this IP called Perfect Dark. How about you guys, come make it for us instead? And guess what? We're all in acquisition season, so we might just purchase you as well if you do a good damn job. And, if Xbox is, watching the game and progress nicely, they can like, what, we're just going to tie you down right now. So this would be like 3 years into development. That didn't happen. They created an initiative instead, and they botched the game completely. Studio got shut down. But IO, they're self-publishing this game themselves, and I think they're kind of making a strong case for developers trying to look towards this direction of self-publishing. But anyways, let's talk about the actual game itself. James Bond. Have you played it, Kenwell? And what are your thoughts, if you have or if you haven't? Is he on screen? Ken, are you there? Seems like Ken might be having some
Yeah,
mic
he's
issues.
on. Can't hear him either.
Yeah, can't hear you. But yeah, sure. Give me a message on
You hear me?
Discord. Yeah, now we can.
Yeah,
What's
we
up?
can hear
Okay.
you now.
All right. My fault. All right. Yeah. So hold on. Is it too loud? Or is it good?
Go ahead, speak.
A little bit. just a
Yo.
little bit.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's
All
fine.
right. I don't know why it's this loud.
No, it's
That's
okay.
weird. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I've been playing James Bond. I'm not too far in it. I like it. I like the game. It's definitely the movie kind of game. So if you're looking for something that's like something that's not too demanding, you don't have to think too much. You're just there for the IP and just some fun. It's definitely that. They nail the aesthetic of the game when like it's just as simple as a James Bond game. When you want to feel like you're going on a espionage adventure, this game nails that. You're really right when you say that Xbox should have pitched them Perfect Dark, but you know Xbox has always taken L. What I really like about the game is just the feeling of the moment-to-moment gameplay. Because of Hitman, which I expected, they just nail the when you're doing the spy stuff, you really feel like you're a spy because you have objectives, you have sub-objectives to the main objective, and you're just going around the whole mission objective, and you're just either bluffing, you can lure people, you're using your gadgets. Everything you're doing just seems more open-ended to the point where, wow, you actually feel like you're actually having control over what's going on. So I've been enjoying the game. The opening was really well done. It just starts off right off the bat. The tutorial doesn't feel like it's some forced kind of, all right, this is how you do this. This is how you do that. They do a really good job of blending it with the narrative where you still, of course, know it's the tutorial and they're still teaching you stuff, but it's very well paced and it just doesn't seem forced. There's this really dope part in the tutorial, a little bit of a spoiler, where you have to go to the club, and how they do the club, there's like there's a whole bunch of people in the crowd and how everyone's reacting. It just seems it feels very authentic. And so the environments, I love that about the game, and I can't wait to just play more of it because everything, they just seem like they've done a very good job. And when they say it's Hitman meets Uncharted, it's really that. So it's good. It's good stuff.
That's really good. So would you say this is, like, at least from what you've seen of played so far, this game is gearing up to be one of the best James Bond games in terms of actually making you feel like you're James Bond? Or is the argument that, like, well, when it comes to the newer movies, yes, this game does feel like the newer movies, but the old James Bond, was a little bit more timid, so this game feels a little bit more adventurous. It feels more like a how can I say? It feels more modern, more AAA banger.
Yeah, you nailed it right there. That it feels more modern. It feels, I will say, it still feels like James Bond, but they found a way to make it their own thing. And I liken it to Insomniac Spider-Man, where they were like, all right, we're gonna do a Spider-Man that's our own. He has like the white emblem. He's in his prime. So like most of the Spider-Man that we were getting before the Insomniac, he wasn't really in his prime. He was either, it was an origin story or he was a Spider-Man for like a few years. So this time in Insomniac Spider-Man, you had a Spider-Man that was doing it for a long time, but he wasn't old. So he's at his peak of his prime. Like this one, because James Bond, from what I remember from a lot of movies, you don't really see the origin story of James Bond. This goes to show, like, it, especially with this game, they made an emphasis that it's going to get more like serious for Bond. Like, it's not like he's ignorant to the fact that, oh, this is a dark world, but the shit that he gets put through gets more intense, and it's going to season him and harden him. So that in a way that really makes it IO Interactive's own James Bond. It's not like the movies, it's its own thing, but he still has the elements of the James Bond.
Like, I'm not even gonna lie, you've sold it to me. Like, I'm on the fence of buying this game because, you know, I'm like, I wanted to play Banishers, you know what I mean, and that's on Game Pass, and you know, this is a bit of a side point to Game Pass. I always say is like, Game Pass never stops me really from buying a game that I really want to play. But there's an example of this now where it's like, oof, you know, I wanted to play Banishers on Game Pass, but James Bond is out. So do I end up then not buying James Bond because of Game Pass? Well, not really. I'm not buying James Bond because I'm not crazy about it, and I do have other options, and okay, Game Pass is there. So if your game isn't like, you know, amazing, or it's like, you know, it's not really doing the job and pulling me through, then yes, you might lose out to Game Pass at that moment because Game Pass has, you know, whatever you could say, more games, more better quality, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, listen, you've done a good job in convincing me anyway. I think I'm going to give it a purchase after this. I might not because we're talking about it now, but then we're going to move on to Xbox, and when we move on to Xbox, maybe I won't give a fuck anymore. Maybe I'll just be like, fuck all this shit, you know, let me go do something else. But yeah, listen, let's, you know, move on to the main topic of the day, which is Xbox. And they've done a great job in terms of keeping everything, you know, moving forward, in terms of making the community feel acknowledged and special, you could say that. And this, I will say, is probably their first, it's not really an L, right? So we're going to talk about Fable. It's not really an L. I'll get you guys' take on it soon. But to me, it is signs of the old administration, things that they got wrong. And I'm not really going to blame Asher for this because it's a little bit different. But going forward, I don't want to see this bullshit again. So let's get into it. Xbox made a post and they said, "This is year is packed." Is that a typo?
It sound like it.
Jesus, how the hell is making a typo? Like, okay, this year is packed.
Somebody was panic typing.
Yeah, sweating. Oh, they're gonna hate us. Yeah, that makes sense, man. So, this year is packed with incredible games for Xbox players to enjoy, from Halo Campaign Evolved, Gears of War E-Day, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, to Control Resonance, Star Wars Galactic Racer, and Grand Theft Auto 5. In order to plan our game launches through the holidays in the way that works best for players, we're moving Fable to February 2027, so it can have the dedicated moment it deserves. We're excited to be giving players a major new look at Fable, as well as our broader lineup at Xbox Game Showcase on June the 7th. Fable has been officially been delayed to 2027. It was supposed to come at the fall, which was around, so that's September, October, November. So at its earliest, it's a October, November, December, January, February. It's a 4 months delay. At its latest, it's like a couple of months delay. Asha, I'll bounce to you first. What are your thoughts on this overall in terms of Xbox image point of view, in terms of the lineup for the year, and also in terms of are you actually happy this is happening, and do you think Fable does need a delay? Like, there's a lot of moving parts here, and also the messaging. Do you think, you know, this message was handled correctly?
You know, I just wish, like, for me, if you ask me again, I just wish Xbox would just come out and say we're a third party. Like, all this stuff of like trying to, like, you know, keep people hopeful that for some reason Xbox is going to act like a platform holder instead of a third party publisher is just, to me, it's in vain.
Wait, hold on. We might be talking about two different things here. We're just right now we're talking specifically about Fable. Fable being
No,
delayed.
no, I'm coming to Fable. I'm coming to
Okay.
Fable.
Okay.
So first of all, like if Fable is delayed, it makes sense. Like I mean, the justification that they're giving here is well, we've got a pretty full slate, and we've got a big game coming out every quarter. So we're good. We don't want to put Fable in the fourth quarter to compete against GTA and other games that we're releasing, which is probably Modern Warfare 4. But then my thing is, then you should have not have announced it as that. You should have just not given a date until, like, again, like that's a rookie mistake from Xbox's side, and I'm not sure why they made that mistake, given that they know that they're developing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. So in regards to Fable moving to Fab, I don't see anything. Look, it's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But in terms of like for Xbox as a studio, but in terms of the perception from the Xbox audience, it's going to hurt their rep quite a bit, right? Because they did promise people that Fable is coming out this year, and then people were expecting Fable this year. It is going to contribute to that narrative that Xbox cannot ship games on time in good condition. The only thing that makes this for them, in my opinion, just from again, like I'm just looking at them as a publisher now, as EA. The only thing that makes this moving Fable to February potentially risky is if the game is a freaking 8 out of 10 or it's a 7 out of 10 when it comes out next Feb, which has happened. Like they've delayed freaking Starfield, came out as an 8 out of 10 game at the end of the day. So if Fable gets delayed to next year, this game they need to make sure is a freaking 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10. So again, all Microsoft has done or Xbox has done is put more pressure on them to deliver. Which is it's not, you don't want to do this, like especially with your reputation as Xbox. Don't do this to yourself.
Yeah, because they have a history of doing these kind of things, especially with the previous administration. And you want to take a step away from that. You want to show that people that this is a new thing happening, and we ain't making the same mistakes as the previous guys. What about you? Do you have similar thoughts to Ushers? Any disagreements there? Do you think this was handled rightly? Do you think Fable should be delayed? And do you think that this might be a bad omen going forward, that there is some level of inconsistency? Because as Usher said, why did you say it? Like, you didn't have to say it. Now you're not. Now you just said it, and it kind of reminds us of the Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond era.
Yeah, it's the same old stuff. Fable, if it's got to get delayed, it's got to get delayed. It's kind of separate, because what's going to happen is it gets delayed, and then people are going, oh, that was the old regime. That was the old regime's fault. That's not Asha's fault. And then there's going to be people going back and forth. But at the end of the day, it's clear as this. If you're going to delay the game, it now gives credence to the game needs to be great. You cannot have a game that is Ubisoft level. And Fable, I'm really not that interested in Fable, but that's it. That to each his own. I know there's a lot of people that are, but it better come through. Fable to me seems like another what's that one game called? Avowed. That's what it seems like. It was something that was anticipated for a long time, that people were really excited about. It had some type of hype behind it, and the developers behind the game were very credible. But then that game got delayed, and then when people finally got it, it was lukewarm. Fable has that to it, and I'm just not sure. I'm not very confident in Fable, so I don't really know. But at the end of the day, if a game's got to get delayed, it's got to get delayed. There really wasn't any room for this game to be put out this year. So, like I said, it just seems like they are always stuck in this constant loop of, they have hype when the game first drops, then the game goes completely silent for years, It comes back out. There's some type of buzz, but because of how long it's taken, it's lost all type of steam. Then when the game's about to come out, it's delayed. And then when it comes out, it doesn't really seem like it's justified. Like GTA 6, we all know GTA 6, the delay is going to be worth it because they're on top of it. When Sony delays one of their games or Nintendo, it's you know why it was going to be delayed. They had to fix some bugs, they had to do more polishing, and it shows. Like most recently, James Bond was delayed. It was supposed to come out in March. I haven't had one issue with James Bond. So Fable, you're adding more pressure on Fable, where it needs to come out. It has to have that quality check. But most importantly, the game, even without the quality, it just needs to be great. And I just don't see it with Fable, which goes to show I just don't know what they're going to do with Xbox. Wait, hold on. I'm reading this year. Xbox is packed game. So Halo Campaign Evolved, that remake is coming out this year?
Yes, the remake is coming out this year, and so is Gears of War E-Day. It's actually quite interesting because a lot of people felt that E-Day, if any game's going to be delayed, it's probably going to be Gears of War. But one of the things I actually pointed out, like I think I said it a while ago, is that I think Gears of War has always been ready. I think the coalition know what they're doing, and so that's going to be consistent. And I think Fable was always the game where I think it needs the most. I think financially, it's probably going to go down as Xbox's most expensive game to make. Maybe Halo Infinite still has that title, but I think Fable is probably up there. And I think they need this game to succeed well, like not just from a Xbox image point of view, but from a profitability point of view. They really need it to succeed. And from what I saw in that developer direct, I said it to you guys before. Apart from just not really being happy with some of the way the execution was in terms of the story and what we're gonna do, the game was at like 30 frames. Not it was at 30 frames, but the game was there was some animations that felt a bit sticky, like it felt a bit like tight. So I feel like, I don't think this game is really, really ready, like in that sense. Now, it's like I said, 4 months can change a lot, right? We've seen, like, after 4 months or 5 months, you can get like a 60 frames patch or whatever it is. So I'm actually, from a technical standpoint, I think this is a good thing. And from a, from a lineup point of view, this is a really good thing. I don't think this Fable game should have come out. I don't think if you're Xbox, you need to be pushing out so many of these games. This is something that Jez has alluded to a lot of times, which is you have partners who are dropping games on your platform, and you have some of these partners, they're dropping games on Game Pass. You have some of these partners who are doing Play Anywhere. You don't really want to be dropping your games to minimize their own game at that point in time. You want to kind of give them room to breathe. Like, rest assured, Rockstar's probably told Xbox, like, this is when we're dropping GTA. So don't be stupid. don't. In fact, Nintendo probably called them up as well, like, yo, Rockstar, like, when are you guys dropping your games? Because we want to drop a Pokemon game. And we're like, yeah, we're dropping it later on this year. So I think this is a very smart choice for Fable to do. Sorry, for Xbox to do. But sorry, Ken, go ahead. Yes. All these other games are coming out this year. Modern Warfare 4, Contra Resonance, Star Wars Galactica, Gears of War, and Halo Campaign Evolved.
Wow. Yeah. So I don't really get the point. I still don't get the point of Halo Campaign Evolved, but whatever. Yeah, Fable. It's just Fable. If it had to get delayed, what were we saying, Alshus?
No, I was just saying the point of it is to introduce PlayStation players to Halo. That's the point.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
It's not even an Xbox. This is what I mean by like Xbox is not doing anything for. If you're an Xbox fan, they're not doing you. There's nothing that they, unless you're a Game Pass person, they're not doing anything for you. That's unique.
I think you're right. I mean, yeah, you're right, Oshos. It's meant for the PlayStation players and probably Switch players. I do think there's an additional part here, and that part is the guy who's in charge of, I can't remember his name, but he's the guy who kind of fixed up the previous Halo remake or whatever remaster it was, right? So it could be a sign of like this is what he's good at, this is what he knows. So he wants to get the team on board in making this Halo game as a remake. But at the same time, they're probably making something new as well. I think, I'm not too sure about this, but I think Jez might have hinted that, like, no, this is not the only game that 343 is making. This is one game that they're making, which, if you think about it, like, if you have a game that's like, if you're going for like a new project, a new world, new people, new universe, that's a lot more complicated to do, and to train people onto that. But if you're making a remake of a game, you can kind of take that template and what you're learning from that and apply it to the new game. So I'm thinking there might be something there in terms of, like, enhancing their skills and, kind of focus on what they're good at and kind of getting people up to speed with the Halo universe, etc., etc. But yes, what you said is correct. This is primarily for the PlayStation and Nintendo fans. Let me ask you this then. Do you, based on what you're seeing right here, so Gears of War, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 4, Contra Resonance, Star Wars Galactica Racer, Grand Theft Auto, all these titles coming out, and probably more. I think there's going to be some more surprises there. Minecraft Dungeons is going to be there. Do you think it was a smart play, regardless if Fable is going to be a good game or not? Do you think this was a smart thing to do from strictly a business point of view?
Yeah, absolutely. You're just you're competing with yourself, and you're competing with so many other games. So you might as well spread the field a little bit more, especially because 2027 is still unknown. What games are even coming out in 2027 that we know of that are confirmed? Not that many. I would just
Exodus and
Expanse.
Yes,
Exodus, Expanse, the Witcher 3 DLC now. I think that's pretty much it. Everything I believe would be speculation at that point. But yeah, I think it's a good move, especially early in 2027. So early 2020, I mean, usually early in the year is pretty empty. So like that I think that's a good way to set the tone for the year, especially when you deliver. Like Resident Evil 9, it is paying off so well for them, because that game is definitely I think is gonna be one of the Game of the Year contenders, and it set the tone for this year. It was the first major game, and they delivered. So then when you can go first and deliver very well, then people gotta meet your level. Now, obviously, that it's a two-way street, because if you shit the bed, then you're definitely going to be forgotten about. So I think it's still a really good idea. You already have a lot of games coming out this year. And I don't like the idea of Gears of War E-Day and this game coming out in the same quarter. That I don't think that makes sense at all. Even if Gears of War was coming out September and then this game was coming out either November or October, that I don't think that's not a good idea at all. So yeah.
I guess before we move on, and I'll pass it to us, to kind of close out with some comments. I will say this: Asher joined in around, was it February? No, Developer Direct was March, right? It was February. So Asher joined when Fable was officially announced already to come out in 2026. So this wasn't her decision. GTA was delayed in November to November 2026 and November 2027. So I think I will give Asher a pass here, because this is still the old administration and you're still kind of trying to fix things and kind of right the ship. So this move right here is not Asher's move. This is a Phil Spencer administration kind of move. And they knew when GTA was delayed in November 2025 that it was coming out in November 2026. They knew this information, and they still chose to say Fable was going to come out in 2026, and they still chose to show at the Developer Direct, and they still chose to give it a specific date, or not so specific, a vague enough date in fall. So they knew all this, and clearly maybe Asher or someone has been looked into it and said, why are we doing this? Why did we even announce this bullshit in the first place? This is so dumb. It doesn't make sense. So this is just the grace I would give the new administration, because they're just fixing the right of the old guys. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Ushers, any points before we move on to something else?
In regards to what, like to.
Do you think it's a smart play by Xbox to definitely, like, regardless of how we feel about, is the game going to be good? Is the game going to be great? Do you think, from a business perspective, having all these games coming out and Fable being so close to GTA, do you believe that, like, yes, this is definitely the best choice, best move to make?
As a third-party publisher, absolutely. Like, which is what Xbox is a third-party publisher.
But even as a first-party publisher, you think it's what?
No, if it's a first-party publisher, then it's a non-issue. Like, then you don't care, because as a first-party publisher, what happens is that momentum builds up based on, like having a consecutive number of hits hit for you in the same year. If you go back to PS4, you go back to Xbox 360, it's the years where you had Halo, you had like the greatest year in gaming, or one of the greatest years, my greatest year, and it was 2007. 2007, you had Halo 3, you had Mass Effect 2, you had Call of Duty 4. You had the biggest games during that generation and the biggest franchises being introduced, and of course BioShock, in the same year. It didn't hurt Xbox's sales, didn't hurt Xbox 360 sales. In fact, it helped the momentum. So if you have a console that has momentum, this is not a problem. Like having consecutive hits lined up like that, it's not a problem. The issue is if you are a publisher with a sketchy, history, where you've released, like for instance, was it 2024, 2025, where they had Doom, they had Ninja Gaiden, and all those games failed to hit. Even though they were all highly rated, all of them were 80 plus, except for course for shit like South of Midnight. But they had consecutive games lined up, but they failed to hit for whatever reason. Some of those games were great. They failed to even land, even on PlayStation, they failed to hit. So if you're in Xbox's position, this is, as a third-party publisher, this is the best thing for you to do. However, if they had a stronger footing in the first-party space, this would not be a problem. If they were in Sony's positions or they were in Nintendo's position, having hit game after hit game come out is not a problem. It will not hurt your market.
That's an interesting take. Ken, do you share the same thoughts, or do you disagree?
No, I share the same thoughts. Their first party just got to be stronger. It's got to be stronger.
I think honestly, I think I see where you're coming from, but I think I do disagree somewhat. If I was a first,
if Sony, okay, let me ask you a question, right? If Sony decided to release God of War, Last of Us, and Spider-Man in the same year, would it hurt Sony?
God of War and Last of Us in the same year.
Yeah. If, in fact, let's say they release 5 of their top exclusives in the same year, would it hurt Sony? Same with Nintendo. If Nintendo released Donkey Kong, Mario,
I think it
Metroid
can.
all in the same year,
I think it can.
Really?
Yeah, I think it can. Yeah, because I think what's happening here is okay. Let me see if I can put this way. I think you need to be kind of conscious of the other titles around you somewhat, and you don't want to cannibalize sales, and more importantly, I don't think you want to hurt your image going forward next year. One of the things we criticized Xbox for, right, was that in 2022 they had absolutely nothing. It doesn't matter if they had 4 games in 2021 that were exclusive, that was great. You cannot have a barren 2022. And even though they had some exclusive in 2022, they weren't good enough. You need a big title every single, not every quarter. You need a big title at least every year. There needs to be something that people are gravitating towards every year or looking forward to every year. As soon as you go barren for that 1 year, what you've done is you've allowed your competition to take up the marketing space. So I do think Fable even like third party or first party, whatever it is, it's gonna be a problem, right? So, but here's the big thing: Sony does not release God of War near Grand Theft Auto. They don't release Horizon. They don't release any game near Grand Theft Auto. 100%. No Spider-Man 3. No nothing. And I'll put it to you this way: PlayStation are looking at Xbox thinking, another dumb move. They're really going to release the game near fucking Grand Theft Auto. Like, this is why they take L's, because they make dumb decisions like this. There is nothing smart about this decision to release this game near GTA. If it was a different game, maybe Spider-Man, whatever it is, sure. But I think it's GTA. You stay 4 months away from there. Now, the problem is this: if you could move Fable upwards to May, June, July, whatever, sure. But it's not ready. I don't think this game is ready at all. I think this game is ready maybe November, December. So now you actually like stuck. Because remember, everybody was saying the same thing. Why is Gears of War not at the showcase? Not at the developer direct. And I was like, because Gears of War was going to be the one to kind of close out the direct. Fable's supposed to come sooner or whatever, right? And I think it's because Fable just isn't ready, whereas Gears is probably ready. And listen, there is a chance that State of Decay might be ready this year. You know, my booty said, yeah, listen, remember, like the beta's gone out, everyone's playing it now. If you have the insider code.
Holy shit, where is State of Decay?
Oh, no, State of Decay 3, the beta's out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like people have been playing that. And, like, so there's this content creator who's a State of Decay guy. Yeah?
I've just got one counter to your whole argument about releasing games the same year as GTA. Can I tell you which games launched the same year as GTA 5?
Go ahead, and I'm sure I have a counter to your points as well about Fireway.
Last of Us, released in 2013. Bioshock Infinite, Pokemon XY, Super Mario 3D, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag. I don't know what the fuck is that. There's the Stanley Parade, Tomb Raider. Did any of those games?
Wait. Start again. You said GTA came out, GTA 5 came out, and what other games came out? Bioshock?
Last of Us, Bioshock Infinite, Pokemon XY, Super Mario 3D World, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, some game called Stanley Parade. It's probably the least successful game here, and Tomb Raider.
Okay, fair enough. So the first thing that I would say,
all the games that didn't fail, and they released the same native year, and all those games went on to be legendary in terms of the size of how big they are. They're remaking Assassin's Creed 4 now, and it's probably, by most people's account, one of Ubisoft's most successful Assassin's Creed games, and it came out the same year as GTA 4.
Okay. So I have a counter for that. You probably already know what it is. You know me. So I would say that when did GTA release? It released in September 17th, 2030, right? The Last of Us released in June, right? So that's June, July, August, September. So that's 3 months gap. Tomb Raider released in March, so that's probably like a 5 or 6 month gap. Bioshock Infinite released in March as well, so 5 to 6 months gap. Pokemon XY and Super Mario 64 are the games that released close to GTA. So yeah, you're right there. Pokemon XY, October, and Super Mario World, November. The only games that you could drop near GTA that will probably still do well is Pokemon and Super Mario 3D World, because those games are so completely different, and Nintendo's audience are very, very different, right? However, I'll even go further and say this. Now, if you're Nintendo, you're not dropping Pokemon XY or Super Mario World near GTA. You don't want to. Back then, GTA 5 was still like, yeah, everyone wanted to play. Everyone, you know, it's a big game. But GTA now has transcended whatever GTA 5 did, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, it's not. GTA 5 was probably still seen as a very popular game. Now I'm saying,
dude. Like
hold on, I'm finished. I'm saying GTA 5 back then was still seen as like a very, very popular video game title, right? And it did really well. Sure, so did Red Dead Redemption 2. However, now people are seeing GTA, this new GTA, as an entertainment launch where if you're dropping a movie, you don't really want to be close to it. If you're dropping an album or whatever it is, you do not want to be close to GTA.
This was the story in 2013.
There's a difference in power skills now.
Dude. This was the conversation in 2013. Like, this was like, you had news reporters. Like, it was one of the first times I actually saw like generic news station reporting on the fact that GTA was launching. GTA has been at that scale, I put it to you, since going back to San Andreas. That's how big entertainment product. Like when people talk about GTA, back in the PS2 era, they talked about GTA as an entertainment title, like as a landmark of entertainment, not just gaming. It didn't just happen. And don't forget how big GTA 4 was at launch as an entertainment product. So by the time GTA 5 came around, like it was already an entertainment title and spoken of as an entertainment title. Like it wasn't as just another video game. I don't know, like I don't know how you feel, and I don't know how Ken feels.
Yeah, GTA 5. I remember that shit was big, bro, because it got delayed.
Yeah, it did. And like people were literally like looking at movie dates in terms of like releases. Like I don't want to launch my movie or release my movie around the same time when GTA 5 is coming out. And that this is when this whole conversation started of games being now a threat to other forms of entertainment. Like this, it already the almost like the whispers started, of course, with San Andreas. There was that talk. GTA 4 was a big launch as well, spoken about in similar sense. However, when GTA came out, GTA 5, dude, like that is when I first heard this thing of saying, no, this is an entertainment. What is it? Spectacle. It's an event for every sort of, like, if you are releasing products, don't release around GTA. This was the media. This was the talk. Now, not in the gaming media, but I'm talking about like entertainment in general.
But yeah, I going back to that question, I think Sony could pull that off without it cannibalizing each other. Absolutely. I think they could pull. I think that would help them versus Xbox doing that, because they had it similar in 2020, because Last of Us released in June and then Ghost released in July. And hold on, 2020. What else came out in 2020? Sony.
Yeah, so Ty is just having some mic issues, so we can just go back and forth. But like, but my point is like to counter to Ty was the fact that like GTA 5 was like it was an event. It was not. it was not a side note. It was a huge event in terms of mainstream. I remember when GTA 5 launched. Like no one else was talking about, like it was one of the, like I think Call of Duty gets that attention sometime, but this thing where you watching normal TV channels, people used to watch TV.
We can hear.
I'm like, you guys are talking, and I was like, I need to respond to this motherfuckers. No, y'all are right. GTA was a huge event, but what I'm trying to say here is more that if the GTA launch of 5 and the hype levels of 5, if that was a whatever 10 out of 10, what do you think the launch and hype levels of GTA 6 is going to be?
No, absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, you have to understand, right? GTA affects when you launch GTA, it's not going to cannibalize. If you launch GTA and then you launch for instance, a Souls-like game like an Elden Ring 2 around the same time, I don't think the Elden Ring 2 game is going to be hurt by GTA 6.
Oh, it's hurt.
I don't think so.
You want to know why it's hurt, yeah? Because there is not 20 million Souls-like players out there. There are casuals who jumped onto Elden Ring because they're casuals. Oh, everyone says this game is great, whatever it is. They don't come across that social media post when GTA is around. Nobody's checking for nothing else when GTA drops. Listen, I'll tell you straight up, yeah. You guys know me. I don't really buy games, whatever it is. I'm very chilled, yeah. I'm buying GTA day one, and I'm playing it day one. I don't care what game you are. Like, the only game that can make me not play GTA day one is Mass Effect 4. But now we're getting into the niche categories of like the kind of games I like. Everyone who plays FIFA, NBA, Fortnite, and Roblox, they're all gonna, here's the thing about Roblox, yeah. People are gonna make Roblox versions of GTA. They're gonna everyone's gonna make a version of GTA. Everyone's gonna talk about GTA. You might be an Elden Ring or Souls-like YouTuber, you're gonna talk about GTA because it's gonna be trending like a motherfucker. And if you ain't talking about GTA, you ain't getting them views. So for sure, whatever channel you are, you talk about GTA just for the sake of it, because the people in your actual in your channel who are actually watching your channel, who are subscribing for Elden Ring or Elder Scrolls, whatever it is, I guarantee you they're watching GTA videos. You did not release anything near GTA. The only company that can still release something near GTA and probably still get their sales is Nintendo.
Whoa, hold up. When is Modern Warfare 4 coming out?
We don't know yet.
That one
October.
was, October is probably when it comes
October
out.
23rd. For 10 marks, Taye, please explain.
Well, explain what?
Like, Modern Warfare is coming out on October 23rd.
Yeah, when is GTA coming out?
November
November
17th.
Around November sometime.
What do you want me to explain?
I want you to explain, like, so what do you mean you don't drop anything close? They're dropping Modern Warfare close to GTA. Modern Warfare 4. That is their franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Next to GTA.
Where else would you drop it?
No, it's got nothing to do with where else will I drop it. It's got to do with me countering the fact that you don't drop anything close to GTA. They're dropping their biggest franchise close to GTA. Counter.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's some games that you can still kind of pull out.
Oh my God.
Right?
So
I mean, I don't want you to say that one.
But that's what I'm saying to you. Is that like so?
No, wait. But to be clear, like, if you're Neil Druckmann, do you drop Intergalactica, and it's like near GTA?
And that's exactly what I've been saying to you. Is that it will not cannibalize your audience.
You don't think? But when you say audience, which games are we talking about?
So sorry.
When you say audience, which games are we talking about?
I'm talking specifically. I'm talking about Modern Warfare because you saying that okay, cool, certain games. Because your point that you were making is the fact that like, if you have a Souls-like game that drops close to GTA, no one is talking about that game. GTA will have all the focus when it comes to the casuals. Modern Warfare Call of Duty is a casual franchise, and it's dropping literally a couple of weeks before GTA drops. It's literally dropping the month before.
I mean,
so that's as close as you can
wait, but it's nearly 1 month difference. I guess it's not fully.
Okay, so again, we were talking about games dropping the same year as GTA, and then you were saying
I'm saying you don't drop. I'm saying you don't drop Fable near GTA. You don't drop.
Okay, what is near GTA?
Near GTA. You don't drop any game near this GTA game. The games that you probably can drop near GTA is Nintendo games, and I'll probably say maybe a FIFA, maybe NBA 2K, maybe a Call of Duty. Like, these games can kind of survive.
Okay, why is that? Why can you drop those games and not, like, aren't those games targeted at casuals? The same casuals that's you saying.
Yeah, but these are the same casuals who are just gonna buy it by default.
Sorry?
These are the same casuals that are just gonna buy these games by default.
Okay, so again, my question to you is that, like, the people that are gonna buy Fable by default are the Fable fans.
No, you don't. No. Yeah. So the fandom will buy by default, but the fandom isn't enough to sustain the budget.
I get that, but what I'm saying to you is that okay, cool. So let's be consistent in terms of we're saying that the fandom is not gonna buy the game by default. Then let's be consistent throughout to say okay, cool. So because what you mentioned is the fact that, like, well, all the casuals are going to go towards GTA. They're not going to be looking at anything else. So you're saying to me that the casuals who play Modern Warfare are not going to be checking for Modern Warfare because they're only looking at GTA?
No. Because so if you have an established base of casuals who actually like your game, so for example, Call of Duty is a behemoth, whatever you want to call it. NBA 2K, the FIFA, these guys are default. They just buy these games, right? So they will buy these titles.
What about Souls-like fans that buy tens of millions of
Souls-like fans?
Those aren't. I don't think they're casual.
No, Souls-like fans will. You're right.
Yes.
They'll buy the game, but but not everyone who plays Elden Ring is a Souls-like fan.
Okay, so what about the guys that bought Elden Ring? What about the people that bought, let's say like
Let me put it this way then. If Elden Ring 2 comes out and it still sells 20 million copies, cool. Elden Ring 3 comes out and sells 20 million copies, then to me, now you have an established name where it's not just casual people seeing, oh, Twitter says this game is good, let me go buy it, whatever it is, right? Now you have people who are actually like, no, I am a fan of Elden Ring. Now you can put your Elden Ring maybe a month or whatever it is close to even Call of Duty, and you probably still get the same thing, right? The problem is, I don't know I don't know. I don't believe that the Elden Ring fan user base, whatever it is full of hardcore Elden Ring fans. I think a large portion of that is casuals who bought the game based on what people were saying about the game. Oh, it's a great game. It's a fun game. It's this, it's that. And I think that's if you use that to go against GTA, you're gonna get hurt. We know the Pokemon fan base is the Pokemon fan base. They've been consistent for years. We know the FIFA fan base is the FIFA fan base for years. Fable has no fan base.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, I'm leaving Fable. I'm going back to the Souls-like. There's Souls-like genre, like as a genre, it came out of nowhere. There's like more of those games being released every year than any other genre, and you're saying to me that you don't believe that there's a significant enough fan base to be able to survive launching around the GTA launch period? For those guys that buy these games every year, every single showcase, especially for Sony that we've seen, has about 4 or 5 of these games just on display. You saying to me that there is not enough in the audience to sustain during a GTA launch versus, say, for instance, a Modern Warfare 4?
Yeah, because if I was to say to you right now, like, what's the best selling Souls-like game? Everyone's going to say Elden Ring. That I said to you, then my next question is, okay, which other game comes close to that? It's like CRPG genre. Oh well, Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing. Oh, so everyone loves CRPG. Okay, what's the next best selling CRPG game?
Okay, I can ask you the same thing about GTA. What's the next best selling game that's similar to GTA?
But that's my point. It's not about the GTA genre. It's about GTA. So, for example,
that's what I'm saying.
So for example, I'm saying don't release your game near Elden Ring. Don't release your game near Mario. I don't care if you're Astro Boy and you got a freaking 92 Metacritic.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Near Mario.
What I'm saying to you is that this is Elden Ring. That is the GTA of that genre. And I'm saying to you that game is guaranteed because of just like
no. It's not GTA that genre, because GTA will sell like Elden Ring sold 20 million copies. GTA will probably do that in a year.
No, I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying that saying that Elden Ring is not going to sell during the same period.
No. My point is, within that Elden Ring user base or Elden Ring 2 user base, there are people out there who are just buying a game. I mean, I don't know if these people are.
Oh, but mind you, it's not 20 million. It sold 30 million.
Other way, 30 million. Yeah, but I mean, GTA will wash
in 2025.
Yeah, GTA will wash in like a couple of months probably.
It's fine. It can wash it, but I'm saying to you that Elden Ring is still going to sell. Those people are still going to show up to buy Elden Ring. People can buy two things at once.
Wait. Okay.
No
so
one is looking at.
I think what we're doing here is like you think I'm saying this in a binary sense. I'm not saying this in a binary sense at all. I'm more percentage focused, right? So I had this discussion with my friend about this, and he was saying how I can't remember what it was, but we're talking about games, and he was saying how he would drop one of his games, like, I think he was in charge of Xbox. He would drop maybe a game on the same day as Call of Duty, like Battlefield or whatever it is, to kind of like make it more competitive. And I told him, I was like, yeah, your game will sell, but there's going to be some cannibalization happening there. And he's like, well, I'll be competitive. And I said, no, because the shareholder's going to ask you and say, we were meant to make 200 million this year, and for some reason I only see 170. Like, what happened? And then you're going to say, well, I dropped it the same day or close to this other big game. You're still making money, but they're asking you, well, why the fuck did we lose 30 million? Because you wanted to be clever or smart. So the question is really more, I guess the first question was, should Fable drop near GTA? And the answer is, I guess we all agree, it's no, right?
Yeah, because it's 2 open world games.
Mm-hmm.
So it would compete. They would compete.
So my thing is like the way, like, if you look at like Hollywood, for instance, they have something called counter programming. So if you have a Marvel movie and you have a smaller, let's say, romantic comedy or a very different genre of a movie, then that movie still gets a huge audience, and it used to happen all the time. Versus if you have two blockbuster movies competing against each other. And the only point I'm making here is that if you have a game like Elden Ring, which is a completely different subset of users generally, that game will still do well, regardless of the fact that you've got GTA out. In fact, I put it to you that if you release Elden Ring closer to GTA, Elden Ring will probably, or Elden Ring 2 or whatever, will probably do better than Modern Warfare 4 being released close to GTA.
Whoa. I don't know. I don't know about that because I do side with Ty with the percentage because Elden Ring, the hype is word of mouth really carried Elden Ring. So if you have people that are now purchasing very few games a year, GTA is already locked in for them. They're not thinking about anything else because there were casuals involved with Elden Ring. We're not definitely it'll sell 10 million, but I don't know about the 30 million it's going to sell because it's releasing so close to GTA when casuals are baked into the sales of Elden Ring 1. Now Elden Ring 2 is going to have to rely on the real fans that have been showing up, not just the new ones that have been coming in.
So Kenwell, you don't think that Elden Ring, the first Elden Ring, won over a lot of those casuals that when they hear the name, oh, Elden Ring is coming out, the second one is coming out, that they're not gonna want to, if they loved the experience, which again is good, is day and night compared to what you're getting with GTA.
Usher, wait,
Now-
did you buy Elden Ring?
Yes, I've got Elden Ring. I
Okay,
own it.
okay, so how many hours of okay, first of all, why did you buy Elden Ring and how many hours did you put into Elden Ring?
Oh, I probably put in 22.
Yeah, so
30
the reason why I'm saying is because I think you are one of those casuals as well who, based off hype and everyone talking about it, you went to go purchase this game and eventually you played it and you're like, yeah, it's cool, but it's not really for me. The question is,
No, I never said it wasn't
in that
for
30
me.
million number of sales, how many of those players are like you? Because I was on Reddit and there were people
Exactly.
saying,
I would still buy. Ask me this
there
question.
were people
would I
saying
buy
straight
it?
up, they were like, yeah, game is cool, but it's too hard. I ain't playing this no more.
No, it's not hard. But like that's my point. That was what I was going to ask you. Ask me if I would buy Elden Ring 2. Absolutely. Without Elden Ring, like the quality in Elden Ring is unparalleled when it comes to most video games. Like I play like
But
I
see,
play
but
Elden
hold on.
Ring.
I get you would buy it, yeah, but like you buy games on a regular basis. For somebody out there who doesn't buy games on a regular basis, Elden Ring 2 is going to be a hard sell when they're looking, when they're thinking like you. They're going to be like, well, now I got to pick Elden Ring 2, which I'm probably going to pay for 15 hours because it's okay. I didn't really like the first one that much, or GTA.
No, but like nobody said they didn't like Elden Ring, dude. Like the game, like Elden Ring is beloved. Like, but if you play Elden Ring, you love Elden Ring. Like, I've never met anyone that said I played Elden Ring, it wasn't for me. And I don't like saying that game.
I've met definitely there are a lot of people that completed that game, but I've met a lot of people that haven't completed that game.
I haven't completed it, Kenwell. Like, I've not finished it, but
Okay.
I love playing Elden Ring for what it is. For me, it's a relaxing experience where you can just explore the world.
Oh, look at this.
You don't even have to go on a mission. I just love playing it for just relaxation.
CNET, which is a website, did a poll, and obviously I don't like the poll can be skewed or whatever it is, but they did a consumer survey, and for them, 40% of players who bought Elden Ring bought it because a friend recommended it to them. That friend ain't recommending it to you already because a friend is recommending it to you means you're not really a Souls-like player. You just play, I heard it's good, but that friend is probably playing GTA. And even though your friend recommends Elden Ring 2 to you, you're like, yeah, but I'm playing GTA now, so I don't have time to check out this.
Yeah,
Elden
but
Ring.
but Taya, you can play more than one game at once. And
are we talking about casuals? The same casuals who play like 2 games a year?
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is that even if we say like the same casuals that play 2 games a year, if the 2 games worth playing that year are Elden Ring and GTA, they're going to play Elden Ring. Elden Ring's not going to be hurt by GTA.
But I thought the scenario we created was it was close to GTA.
Yeah, close to GTA.
It's close to GTA, absolutely. But still, people that like Elden Ring, regardless if it's like if it's releases early in the year or right next to GTA, they're still going to buy it, and it's still going to get a huge casual audience buying it because it's not the same experience. GTA is like a modern game that like very different mechanics. Elden Ring is a Souls-like. So even if you buy two games that year, I think people will choose to buy an Elden Ring and buy GTA. That's what I'm saying to you. Is that like it's neither. It's not an either or. It's not a situation where people will just say no. I'm not gonna buy GTA.
No,
but I'm
but you
gonna buy
see,
Elden Ring.
but you see, you just said two games, yeah. But like, are we forgetting about Call of Duty? Are we forgetting about James Bond? Are we forgetting about Forza Horizon? Are we forgetting about Wolverine coming out? Because now what's happening is like what we're really saying is that like, yeah, Elden Ring is going up against Elden Ring 2 is going up against Forza, it's going up against Wolverine, it's going up against GT. Like there's so many titles out there now because you know, as we said in the poll by whatever his name is again, not Matthew Bell. So kind of it says like most casual gamers are buying two games a year, and if you're programmed for those two games a year to be either WWE 2K, FIFA, or Call of Duty, and GTA is coming, GTA is probably gonna like eat some of their lunches. But now you want to drop Fable close to that as well. Like Fable's gonna get like lost in that.
Okay.
You want these guys to be bored. Oh, there's nothing new coming out, and then you drop Fable. Like I think that's gonna be the best way to actually sell Fable. If you, and I made this from a single player perspective because I see what you're saying from a multiplayer point of view, right? Because when, like for example, Call of Duty is coming out on all platforms, like you know, so Xbox, PlayStation, maximize revenue, maximize player base, all that kind of bullshit. If you're releasing an exclusive game, you're going to have less marketing prowess, especially if that game is not a brand name like a Call of Duty or a FIFA or NBA 2K. You're a new game, more or less, that is trying to not just court the people from the past, but new people. You're trying to get me to buy your game. You're trying to get RPG fans to buy your game. You're trying to get casuals to jump in to buy your game. And dropping it so close to Call of Duty and GTA and Wolverine, because I think Wolverine's, when is Wolverine again?
It's on the 15th of September. That's what I was going to ask you. So Wolverine is coming out this 15th of September. Is it going to be hurt by GTA?
No.
Why?
I mean, it's 2 months away.
So okay, so what is the proximity to GTA the point then? Like,
Yeah.
you're too close to
the
GTA.
closer you are to it, because
Okay,
remember,
so why not release Fable in December then, or in why not move it up a month or month below?
No. So if you release it in December, I don't think I think GTA is still out. Like the hype is still there. I don't think.
Okay, you release it in September then.
You could release it in September, but remember what I said earlier. I don't think that the game is ready.
Okay, so the point is the game not being ready, not that you can release close to GTA.
No. Because they said fall, right? So that was September. Fall is September, November.
Exactly. So why not just release it in September?
When is fall? Hold on. Yeah, so fall is September, October, November.
Exactly.
I don't see because so here's the thing. There were some people saying that like, yeah, they heard internally that the game is in a good shape, but they're not sure about that release date. Like they feel like they might need a few more months or something like that. So that was a bit of a rumor. Then Playground Games came out and said, nope, we're still releasing this fall. But the reason why they responded to that, I believe, is because there was smoke there. And they were still sure, like, okay, we're releasing this fall. So I don't think the game is fully ready from a technical standpoint. Like, I think you can still release it, yeah, whatever it is. But I think there might be some glitches or whatever it is. So that's the first thing. If this game was going to come out, I think it was going to be always November or December. I think if you do September, the game has some bugs in it that you need to kind of iron out. I don't think that's what they want to do. Second of all,
so my point is this:
second of all, I don't know if it's okay. So there's a few games coming out in September, right? I know one of them was Wolverine. Let me double check again. What games are coming out in September? September 2026, bruh. What are you giving 2025? Okay, so Resident Evil you know, this Copilot thing is actually quite shitty. It's giving me so many bullshit answers. It told me like fucking Witcher 4 was coming out in September, and so was all these other PlayStation games I just clearly weren't gonna come out. Like I was like, what the fuck are you lying for, bro? Like, why are you lying? You're just telling me bullshit I want to hear. Oh, he's a gamer. He loves games. Let me tell him all the games are coming out. Like, what a fucking piece of shit. So I'm going to Grok, a real AI, right? So Grok is looking at it now. So yeah, so okay, here's what's coming out September. Perfect. This is great, and you're gonna see why this is tough. Yeah, Blood of the Dawnwalker, the ex-Witcher devs, Rebel Wolves is make. I'm telling you straight up right now, and I want Ken to come back because he's making videos on this game. This game looks better to me than Fable.
Okay, so let's hold it there. So again, when I was talking about like releasing an Elden Ring game around that time, what makes you think this game would do better than a Fable? Sorry,
in September.
In September, yeah, like if like
no. You can release like your game in September, like just
because I was talking about all I said was this, like my first statement, my initial statement. I'm sure like Kendall is bored with this exchange. Kendall will stop soon. So my whole thing was that like releasing games in the same year that GTA comes out is not a train smash. Like it's not gonna hurt your game, depending upon. And again, like you could release an Elden Ring type game close to that. And then the whole point I brought that up is that they could have released Fable either in December or they could have released Fable before in October if they wanted to, before GTA comes out. It would not hurt them. That was my whole point, is that like I'm not saying release it on the same month that you're releasing GTA, but I'm saying you could release your flagship at any time. If your game is good enough, the audience that cares about your game, casual or core, will buy your game.
Yeah, so I'll agree with that, like to some kind of extent. I do think you can release your Fable in September. That would have been perfect. I think even October would have been better. I do think for Xbox, they're thinking about there's Call of Duty there that's gonna take up the casual space a little bit, so that's not great. But okay, we can do that. But then it's just a case of but there's a lot going on. There's Call of Duty, and then there's GTA coming out in November. So I think overall, it makes sense. I think the time to actually release the game was not fall. I think they really wanted to say November, December. We're saying November. And in December, I think there's still a bit of a GTA hype. So I think it just makes more business sense to push it to January or February, where things have kind of toned down a little bit. I can probably tell you this right now, yeah. Sony would never release. I don't think they'll release the game Wolverine the same time as GTA, like ever. I think that they just don't.
No, they won't release it. Martin. No, it won't be at the same time, but like Sony, and again,
sorry, let me say that. I mean, like even month. I don't think they want to release any other games like Call of Duty or GTA. I think they know, like, yeah, let's not do that. Let's not be silly about it. Like, even think about it this way: like Baldur's Gate, Lyrian Studios, they moved Baldur's Gate 3 because of Starfield, and guess what? Now, not that like Baldur's Gate 3 did well, and they got a lot of people to buy the game, and people love them. They now know that their games are powerful enough to go against other big games, aka Wolverine, aka Spider-Man, aka Fable. Like they have no fear now. The only game that before the games that they would have feared is obviously Bethesda games, Spider-Man, maybe Wolverine, Zelda, all those kind of games, Witcher 4, whatever it is. Now they're probably looking at it saying like, no. The only games that we should be afraid of now is GTA. And maybe a Witcher 4, and maybe a Zelda. I think after that, they're pretty confident that like their game will be the one that everyone's afraid of.
I mean, like I just think that the guys that make like From Software games like are in a very similar position. They don't give a fuck what you.
No. Elden Ring can go up against like The Witcher 4 or whatever it is, probably all that kind of stuff.
Even GTA, I don't think.
Just can't. No, they can't go against GTA.
No, but my thing is that it's such different audiences that it doesn't really matter. Like I don't think there's an overlap there. Even with the casuals, I don't think there's an overlap there. I still think you get Elden Ring, it won't sell 20 million the first week like GTA. It'll sell maybe 10, but overall, that same game in its lifetime is gonna make the same 30 million because it's not gonna be selling all those games in the same month. But if you can get like 5 to 10 million the first month, all that it means is that like it will get the legs that, regardless of what comes out after that, people are still going to be buying the game because that's how this works. Is that what you do the first month is great, but it's your legs that count. And games like Cyberpunk proved that. Is that like, yes, it's great to have 10 million, 20 million out the gate, but you want to get to that 30 million.
You got to keep in mind one of the reasons why Assassin's Creed did so well. As well as because Cyberpunk got delayed. And when it got delayed, Ubisoft were literally like, "Oh fuck yeah! Now we're the only next gen game that's releasing. We have this space to ourselves." And that was Valhalla, right? And everyone was a lot of casual people bought Valhalla. No other game to buy that's coming out this month that's big, So let's just get Valhalla. Like if Cyberpunk came out, like Valhalla sales are less because the casuals are just kind of like, okay, well, so Cyberpunk is coming out instead. Let me buy that instead. But let's move on. Ken, are you still there?
Yeah.
Cool, because we're about to bounce off to the next topic, which is sorry, you're gonna close off the point. Do you have anything to say?
Nah, not really. I just think GTA is just a beast. Yeah. I was thinking about it. I just don't know any game that could really compete with it. But
yeah. Well, so the next point here that we're gonna talk about is Xbox and related to the showcase. So one of the talking points that everyone has been saying to Xbox is obviously bring back exclusives, focus on this, focus on that. And so far, Xbox has done well from an image point of view in giving the users what they want. One of the changes that happened under the Phil Spencer era, which probably didn't seem need to happen, was this idea of putting logos of different platforms on your showcase. Now, in a perfect world, this doesn't matter. It makes sense. Obviously, show the consumer where they can purchase this product. However, Nintendo doesn't do this, and that is PlayStation. So you have the competitors actively negating your own platform, and you're showing theirs. An example I could show you guys is that on Fable, for example. If you go to the Xbox page and you see you watch the Fable trailer, it has the Xbox games, the Xbox logos, and it also has a PlayStation logo on it. However, if you go to the PlayStation YouTube page, the Xbox Fable game, which is on PlayStation, on the PlayStation page, doesn't have the Xbox logo. It only has the PlayStation logo. For some reason, Xbox thinks it's okay for them to, give their games to different platform holders, and those platform holders can then go and edit their own logos away from it, but Xbox will not do it to them. So Matt Booty recently announced that when it comes to the logos for the new showcase, Xbox will continue to show the logos of all its competitors. As Corbo says, Xbox will continue to show competitive platform logos at the upcoming Xbox showcase. I feel like the bare minimum expectation many had was for Xbox to really focus on their own platform, at least for the time of the showcase. He goes on to say, saying it reflects, so this is in relation to what Asher said a few days ago. She said, it reflects a decision to be deliberate in how we show up for the players who care most about the brand. While showing competitive platforms at your brand's anniversary showcase a week later does not line up to me. So he's actively criticizing that you said you wanted to show up for the people, the Xbox people, but now you're going to be showing all these other logos there. He says, that's my opinion on this. I've been clear on this topic for months. I've expressed my voice and the voice I'm seeing on my channels offensively. They know a part of the core Xbox community is not happy about this path, which is why they pre-addressed that topic today. I still think it's not the right decision. At the end of the day, it's just logos. Many won't care. That's cool. Bigger strategy shifts that actually matter are still being decided on later, as confirmed by Matt today. However, I totally understand anyone saying their actions don't line up with the words here. Ken, I'll go to you first this time. What are your thoughts on this?
Man, I'm just so tired of Xbox with their polyamorous cuck fucking mentality, bro. Like, this is really some cuck shit. That's why I love that meme with the guy with the fat guy drawn, and then so he has the Xbox shirt and then PlayStation 5, and then his girl's like, "Are you sure?" That is this shit. Like, they can't do any of the little things right when it comes to this. And I am so surprised when how the Phil Spencer stuff is still carrying over. Because was it really Phil Spencer that was pushing this whole, like, hey guys, we're all gamers here, we should share everything? Like, it's seeming like this is coming from the top. Because why is this shit still a thing? You can't just focus on your show. But then you have other people going like, well, you guys are suckers. I'm not going to show your logo. Why would I show your logo? Every single time Xbox has to play the nice guy, and it's not even just play the nice guy. They want to do this cuckery bullshit. Why are you showing other labels, bro? You said you're focusing on Xbox. Oh, we need to go back to the console. We need to focus on exclusives. How the hell are you going to do that when, first of all, you need the money back from the Xbox, but that Xbox, all the acquisitions you made, and you're doing shit like this? You might as well call this E3. Like, just do that shit. Like, why are you showing other platform when it's called the Xbox Game Showcase? We know there's not going to be any exclusives there. What is this showcase for then? Like, it just doesn't seem, again, it's what Aushus is saying. What are they doing for Xbox fans? Because this is just the opposite of this.
Yeah. They've been doing the surface level stuff that has been kind of been presenting to the core fan base that they're listening. This decision here, I don't get. I don't understand, because to be clear, we're talking about the core fan base, right? We're not talking about the actual casuals. Now we can talk about the casual, and the casuals don't really care, like whatever it is, sure. But I do think there's something to be said about building a aura of exclusive and making your ecosystem seem like it's unique. And a showcase, which is probably going to be one of the most watched showcases again, along with the Game Awards, you have the chance to kind of like cement that aura a little bit more. And this seems like an easy W. Now, could you make an argument that the reason why they can't do this is because a lot of these developers out there who are willing to put their games on the Xbox Showcase have told them, like, hey, listen, we'll only do it if you show our logos, because if you're,
no ways, that's not it.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, I'll pass it to you in a sec. Like, maybe your 007 First Light, and Xbox sees up and says, come and be at our showcase, and you're like, yeah, but we're gonna be at your showcase, you're gonna take away everyone's logos. Yeah, we'd rather be at Sony's. But then Xbox says, no, we're gonna show Sony's and everyone's logo. And they're probably thinking, oh, okay, I mean, if you're showing everyone's logos, then it's actually better than Sony's, because Sony doesn't actually show Steam or Xbox, and we rather have everyone's logos be shown. So maybe Xbox then gets more developers willing to kind of participate. That could be it. that could be, like, in devil's advocate. That's the only reason why this makes sense. There is no other reason to do this. But I'll just you let me know what you think of my devil's advocate comment.
No, I think Ken will hit it on the head. Like, I think if you're an Xbox fan, if there are still any any left, this shit is it just pisses you off, because there's absolutely no reason for them to do this. The only reason that there is for them to do this is the fact that they're a third-party publisher. They're not a platform holder, they're a third-party publisher. Plain and simple. Meaning that their hardware is not a priority. They at no point in time are concerned about you staying on the ecosystem. That's like, there's nothing about what they're offering you says for you to get the base experience, you need to get an Xbox. Meaning that this is exactly the same bullshit that Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond were doing. Nothing has changed in terms of material change. Like, I don't give a fuck if you make the logo greener. What the fuck does that do for me as an Xbox? like this little fucking little wins, it's bullshit. Because I'm telling you, the state of play that Sony is planning now, the fact that they booked out like a cinema or a stadium for people to watch, the only reason that we're even still talking about Xbox is because Sony has not been releasing any games. But I promise you, Sony understands that they're on the ropes in terms of like how their fans feel about them, and Sony is not about to lose market share or audience to Steam or to Xbox. So all it's going to take is for Sony to say we're back, and all that chitter chatter about Xbox goes away. Like all these little minor wins are not significant enough to be able to do. If Sony has a showcase where they just announce all their big bangers and everything on that show just says PlayStation, it's a further coffin into the Xbox. Sorry, it's a further nail into the Xbox coffin. And then I'll ask you as an Xbox fan, what is Xbox doing for you that is equal to what Sony and Nintendo are doing for their fan base? And then the follow-up question is that then why are you still an Xbox fan? If literally, to what Kenwell is saying, you're just a cuck. Everybody has your games. It's only word of mouth that Xbox, like it's like if you go back to that fucking statement that Xbox released about all these games are coming out on Xbox, I'm like, you fucking assholes, these games are coming out on every other platform as well. Like, what are you doing for Xbox players?
Yeah. Like, but Aushus, you'd be surprised. I have this one guy who on my channel, and we talk about it, and I don't go as hard, even though I should, but he's drinking all that shit. He's just slurping all of Xbox's shit up. I'm like, wait, hold on. You are falling for the same shit again. He's like, oh yeah, I really liked how they changed the Xbox logo recently. Like, he brought that up. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. What the fuck does that do? And he's like, yeah, like Asha's been doing a really good job. I'm like, bro, it's only been a few months, you know that. He's like, yeah, but I really think it's gonna be good. Like she said, they're gonna focus on the hardware. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, but what has she really done to do that? Like, how does she set that up? He's like, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to be optimistic. Bro, like, you went through that already. What do you mean you're trying to be optimistic? They're not coming back for you.
Thank you. We've been here before. We've done this before.
You've done this
I don't know how many times Phil Spencer told us, I'm very much aware of the fact that, Xbox is in the name. The box is in the name. And you go on and you gave away all your exclusives. Like I'm so like their lip service means nothing. Like all these we're committing to Xbox. Like just like what I wish, and then I'll stop the Xbox hate here from my perspective. From me, is I just wish they would just speak plainly and says we're a third-party publisher, we support all these platforms, and then that's what it is. I hate this thing. Actually, Asher's entire sort of run, it upsets me because of the fact that it got people to believe again that Xbox could be a platform holder. It cannot be. They cannot be a third-party publisher and a platform holder. You can't do both. You either a platform holder or you're a third-party publisher.
I don't see their plan here. Like, you guys are really about to get heartbroken again. Nobody gives a shit. Like, nobody will give a rat's ass for all the Xbox fans that are complaining about Xbox in 2 years because they haven't seen any fucking change, because they haven't done anything. Game Pass price slashed. Bro, it's gonna go right back up. That's how subscriptions work. And then you do shit like this. Like the Xbox showcase, I knew that shit was done after last year, bro. That was the most depressing showcase because there was no games for Xbox. There was no game. I'm like, oh, well, I'm just waiting for a Nintendo Direct. I'm never waiting for a Nintendo Direct. But like, it made me think. I was like, damn, like now Xbox, like there's just nothing. There's nothing more to it. At least with the previous showcase, I was always excited for Xbox. Because there was always a lot.
But like that's because Kenny, you're always expecting Xbox to finally have the lineup of they release Starfield, they release Forza, they have the perfect year where they have these hit exclusive games that get the platform on everybody's radar. And then, like you off to the races. But like they've nullified that. Like there's no chance of that.
Yeah.
Like we're in a situation where I actually do believe that, like, you know what, they should have just kept on with what Sarah and Phil were doing and just say, we're moving away from hardware. Because again, and I'm going to end here, Ty. I don't want to take much time up. We're going to a point where, like, so how do you sell the Xbox Helix? Don't come to me to this bullshit of like, well, we're going to sell the Xbox Helix of the features of the console. Nobody's ever bought a console that went on to be a best-selling console based on the features of the console. It's always been, does it have great exclusive software?
And that's where they're gonna find themselves.
So I think, for people like ushers or people who've kind of left the platform, I don't think like regardless of if they remove the logos or not, you guys, the core thing was always, is exclusives back or not? That like if you bring back exclusives, then we can talk. I might not even come back, but at least I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. Keep dropping these exclusive games, keep doing these things, and we'll, I might come back in a year or 2 or 3. Like who knows? I think this point here though is to build trust within the people who have decided to stay and to show them that you're not disrespecting them anymore. And when you said that, hey, we recognize that you guys have spent a lot of money on these titles, and we want to acknowledge that. I think to say that, you need to also acknowledge these people and what they want to return back to. So that's someone like me, who's not entirely going to leave the platform because of no exclusives. You've done well with the Helix. You've announced it's coming out. You've done good with the name. You've done great with, trying to merge everything together. Play Anywhere is being pushed. But for someone like me, it was I guess you could say, quote unquote, disrespect of the one more game with Indiana Jones. You could say the lies, the misquotes, all these, problems. This right here is so easy to do. All you have to do is not show the logos. Now, here's the funny thing. When Xbox had their marketing rights to, some of these games or the Game Pass version of these games, IGN showed you how simple it was. They removed your logos and they just admitted the fact that the game was coming on your platform. Right? When you guys had the marketing rights to Cyberpunk, and Jeff and his guys didn't like the fact that you guys had the rights to it, what did they do? They edited out your logos. So everyone is taking the piss out of you, getting rid of your logos, but for some reason, you're obsessed with showing theirs. Like the idea that I type in Fable on YouTube, and what pops up is the PlayStation trailer for Fable. And I click it. Yeah, for real. And I click it, and at the end, it just says PlayStation. And then when I finally find your trailer at the bottom,
it's really first. Sorry, Ty.
Yeah, no, it's for real. And I type in your trailer at the bottom. I see everything. I see Xbox, PlayStations. I see everyone's there. It's a party. It's a polyamorous party, right? It's like you're in a polygamous relationship, but there's one person. There's one person in the group who is allowed to be exclusive. Everyone, one person can do whatever the hell they want to do. Everyone else has to like share. It doesn't make sense, and I don't understand this because out of all the things to do, like the Play Anywhere, reducing Game Pass was more financially problematic or whatever it is than the logos. Like as soon as you reduce Game Pass, you basically said, yeah, this was a material decision that I did. So the decisions that's coming from here on is going to be material. And you could say the logos is immaterial, but it's like taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. I don't understand how you can do the Game Pass then and not do the logo then. It just doesn't make sense. It would have been such an easy win. I do think it's good that it was Matt Booty who did this. I think it's good that like Ashes own like, nah, you're doing this, bro. I ain't fucking stepping in that. Like, all these arrows, you'll get it done. Um, but yeah, this whole situation doesn't make sense to me. If there was some kind of contractual situation going on, just say right now, like, yo, listen, we got these games coming through. We've signed up with our partners. This is what it is. In the future, we'll look towards it. Trust me, or whatever it is. Like, say that at least, but don't make it seem like, yo, this is the way forward, and this is what we're gonna keep doing. Because my question is, yeah, but who are you serving with this logo thing? Like, who's
But
benefiting from this?
Taye, like they're a third-party publisher. They are serving the biggest platform where the game gets attention. Ironically, when I'm looking at the numbers here, both Fable on PlayStation 5 and Xbox got 1.4 million, but because PlayStation is more popular, that video pops up first on YouTube. But they got the same amount of views. But my point is, they're serving the biggest platform. In other words, PlayStation. PlayStation, like, why would you not, like, think about it as a third party? Like, why would EA not show their logo PlayStation's logo when they're selling a PlayStation game and PlayStation is their biggest platform? So they're a third party publisher, period. As a third party publisher, you want to make sure that you highlight your game on the biggest platforms.
No, but you see, but the thing is, because Nintendo, these sales don't even come from Nintendo, but Nintendo doesn't show everyone else's logos either.
Sorry, which sales?
Like, Nintendo doesn't, wear like what's the game again that comes out once on Nintendo? Like, Nintendo don't, when Nintendo shows games on their showcase, they don't show everyone else's logos either.
No,
but Nintendo sales are
Nintendo's not a third party publisher. Sony's not a third party publisher. They're platform holders. They're trying to sell hardware.
No, Xbox is a third party. But my point still remains the same, that like, you don't need to do it for everyone else's games either. Like, I mean, you just don't. Third party publisher, no, you don't really need to. Like, there's no. Let me take a step back. There's no need to go get a game that isn't a game like, let me think of a game now. Like, let's say a Blood of the Dawn Walker. There's no need to go get Blood of the Dawn Walker and show everyone else's logo. But when Nintendo gets it, Nintendo says, Nintendo, who's going to have the least sales, still manages for some reason to only show their own logo on it. Like, that's my point.
Nintendo's a platform holder. Sony's a platform holder. Xbox is a third-party publisher. When has EA held out, like, for instance, or Ubisoft or any of these publishers held out logos because they have an exclusive deal with someone? When they advertise the thing, it's still going to show all the logos, even though it will primarily, if you like, for instance, if they have to put the marketing like at malls or whatever, all that will say PlayStation. But at the same time, when they do like a TV spot, it will still say all the platforms. It will still say Xbox One. It will name all the platforms, even though PlayStation has the marketing rights. It just means that PlayStation can like ship it with their consoles and do all sorts of like interesting things, bundle deals and whatever. All I'm saying is that Xbox is a platform holder. Xbox is a publisher, not a platform holder anymore. That's why they have to do this. They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, like, platform holder, whatever.
It's fucking pathetic.
It just seems weird to me. Like, it just feels like it doesn't need to be done. Logos don't change anything like materially, but I think it does give the people within the fan base something to like be happy for. I don't know, like, unless you're gonna show like they're gonna start saying like, well, Fable's exclusives or whatever. It just this doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't.
It really doesn't.
I can't even think of an example, but like, there is something else as well that we'll get your thoughts on, Ken. Matt Booty did announce that like Project Helix, there'll be no news on Project Helix whatsoever. So it's just gonna focus on the games. So no devices, nothing about the ecosystem, etc. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's a bit of a miss to not talk about Helix to show something off, especially because it's the Xbox's 25th anniversary or whatever it is?
I don't know if it's a miss. I will say it's weird though how so much information was let out before, like kind of like it was kind of like a rollout, and then all of a sudden when you're on the big stage it's like, no, we're not going to talk about it. So that's how I feel. It's like, why was so much information leaked out about it? We pretty much know the vision of the console, which is I feel ahead of what we were supposed to know at this point. And then now that it's time to talk about it, the time when you would think it's time to talk about it, they're like, let's not do that. So I don't know if it's a missed opportunity, but I definitely feel that it's weird that they're not going to talk about Project Helix in some type of way when Xbox is usually early with this kind of stuff. I just, it's just weird. Like, why was so much information let out? Like, we had official documentation, right, about how powerful it would be. Again, it's a mini PC. We know this shit already. So why do we know about this shit so much? But now that they're at their showcase, they don't want to talk about it. I just find that really odd.
Ushers, and your thoughts on Xbox Helix not being omitted at the showcase? Did it matter as much, or is this does this make sense that they should talk about? They just focus solely on the games right now, and then focus on Helix a little bit later.
Ken was spot on. Like, again, why are you hyping your audience up for stuff that you're not going to like? There's no payoff for your audience when it comes to this, because you're going to have a third party showcase where you're showing games for everyone. Again, I'll ask this question again. What is Xbox in June when they have this showcase? What are they doing for the Xbox fans? Are they just showing off Game Pass games? Is that it?
I guess if it's the multi-platform, they're showing up games for everybody.
That's my point. Is that so? Like, what are you doing for Xbox fans? What are Xbox fans that PlayStation fans like? What are you giving Xbox fans that you're not giving PlayStation and Nintendo fans? And we can leave Nintendo because they don't really support Nintendo at this point in time. They've not really released that many games. But what are you doing for your fans over your competition's fans? I'm not getting anything from the showcase if I'm an Xbox fan from the the State of Play. But all the games, everything that you're showing off in your showcase is going to PlayStation. So what are you doing for your Xbox fans?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The only thing that they can advertise is Game Pass and Play Anywhere. But I think Xbox fans have kind of made it clear overall that, let me take a step back. To do Play Anywhere is more of a material thing. To do Xbox Game Pass, especially at a reduced price, is more of a material thing. To offer even cloud services to Xbox games via Play Anywhere as well is a material thing. They've done these things that are pillars and beneficial to the platform. That's why this is so and these things are material for the casual fans, and they're very material for the hardcore, especially the ones who decide to stay. This is why doing this, putting the logos there, it's less it's financially less. It's not as important. It's easier to do that than to convince IO Interactive to put your game on Play Anywhere. Like, the reason why I'm buying James Bond is because it's Play Anywhere. I can play it on Xbox. I can play it on PC. Like, it's great. It's fantastic. The reason why I can buy Club Obscura is because I can play it's on Game Pass and it's Play Anywhere as well. Like, these are things that you had to go after these developers and maybe offer financial incentives or whatever it is to do. It takes more of an effort to do that there's no effort in taking away these logos. So I'm just confused. Like I'm gonna remain confused. Like I just know what the fuck is going on.
Like you said, yeah. Continue.
No, that's it. Like I don't know what the fuck is going on because I'm like this is a weird L. You know, like I mean, it's some of the material L in the sense of like, you know, hey, they're gonna lose users or whatever it is. But from a momentum point of view, it's a weird L, and it kind of reminds me of the Phil Spencer era.
Yeah, because it just I can't get over it. It's like, why did we get like this hype and talk about Project Helix? Like it seemed like it was gonna come out before the PlayStation 6, the way they were talking about this shit. And then now it's like, no, we're not gonna talk about it. You just teased us. And now there's really nothing for the showcase if I wanted to think about switching over to Xbox. I'll just stay right where I'm at.
My question, Kendall, is that like you are on Xbox. What is there for you as someone that's already on Xbox at the Xbox showcase?
Yeah.
Game Pass games. That's all you're getting. You're just getting Game Pass games.
Yeah, like it seems kind of like a consumer issue. Like that's why it's like I can't even get mad at Xbox anymore. Like when I talk to again that one guy, I'm like, hey man, you just like Xbox. I can't. I get it, but you just like Xbox because there's no consumer incentive to that. You got to know that.
No, they're not.
Got to know that.
Effort. They're not making any effort. Like this is my thing to me is that like why are you still then aping this whole thing of like going back to Xbox? You cannot go back to Xbox. You've put yourself in the corner in a position you cannot go back to Xbox. You're a publisher. You make stuff for everyone. And you are offering your consumers the least out of everyone in terms of incentive. The only thing that your consumer has is if they are on Game Pass, and that's why they are on your platform, is because of Game Pass. Then you can say, well, all these games are coming to Game Pass Ultimate. And you can get them day one. That is the only sort of like exclusive or thing that they're giving you. And of course, as Tyre mentions, play anyway. But like my point is like most of Xbox fans or people that like play Xbox, you already had that anyway. So you're not giving me anything new. So like I'm saying like when Sony has like let's say now Sony does a state of play, and then they announce the next. Of course, they're going to announce the Insomniac game. They announced another 3 or 4 big ass exclusives, like big generational exclusives. Because we are there now, we're 5 years in, and I think Sony sort of understands the position that they're in. That if I listen to the statements from the previous, like I think it was like one of the executives there, what he said. They're in a position where now they're gonna do everything to bring out the big guns. Let's say they have a 10 out of 10 state of play that just shows stuff that's just on PlayStation. What does Xbox have to counter to that?
They have nothing. Because we don't they really only have no, they don't have anything because Blade is multi-platform.
Yeah. Everything is multi-platform.
Everything is multi-platform. Like,
and then my question is, and then this leads to the question that Tyre was coming. So my question is, so what the fuck? Well, why do I give a shit about a Project Helix?
Yeah, Project.
Yeah, like I still think they still have all these points that are good, sellable, whatever it is. Like this has just been an image kind of burn that didn't make sense. It just seems like a weird. Like if they turn around and said, "Yo, listen, Satya told us that we gotta bring in X amount of money, so we can't really go exclusive. You're gonna do it for 3 months, 6 months." Like that's not a great one or whatever it is. But if you set it in a way that like due to margins or whatever, we know it sucks. However, due to the pressure to make margins or whatever it is, we can't commit to that now. There's different factors. Like if you explain to people, like fair enough, there's no explanation for what I'm seeing here. There was a contract with everyone else, so we have to keep doing this at least for the next year. None of that is here. It's just,
Yeah.
well, we're just doing it. It's like, but wait, but why?
They're
Why?
third-party publisher. Like there's like that's the why. There's no other. They're third-party pub. They're not a platform holder. They're a third-party publisher. You can't ask EA not to put their logos. If EA has a showcase, you can't say, well, EA, you can't put Xbox's logos there or PlayStation's logos. They will put all the logos of all the platforms that the game will be available on. That's what third-party publishers do.
Yeah, and I think the issue there is that even though like it allows that narrative to run, well, you're a third party publisher, so it makes sense because the platform holders don't do it. But rest assured, when Ubisoft is doing their own showcase, they're showing everyone's platform. Rest assured, when EA does their own showcase, they show everyone's platform. When Bethesda back in the day, they did their own thing as well. Everyone's platform. When publishers do their showcase, they show everyone's platform. The only people who don't show people's logos are platform holders.
Correct.
So the signal that you're sending out to me now is that you're a publisher. I'm not a platform holder. Because even if somebody told you straight up that, well, we're telling you that because PlayStation has the most sales, that's why we want you to show our logos. It's like, yeah, but we're Xbox, so like you ain't gonna punk us like that. You ain't gonna make us, deal with the bottom stuff, and then y'all deal with the with PlayStation in a different way. You can't. You need to treat us the same way like you treat those guys. And then when Nintendo gets, the game that is potentially multi-platform, well, Nintendo hides everyone else's logos as well. But Nintendo isn't the one that shows up people's sales. Like when Call of Duty gets announced for Nintendo, I want to see if the Call of Duty logo, if the Xbox logo is on that platform. Because it's not gonna be, right? They're just gonna say why. Are we a third party publisher? Like, why you? Are you dumb?
Like, this is crazy. This is why I don't believe that this Asha chick. I don't fucking believe it, because the shit that she's doing, it's going to stop. We know that when she came in, she is directly a part of whatever the big wigs are doing at the top of the company. She is the company person. And I forget which one of the original people of Xbox. I remember he was on a podcast and he said something like that. She's gonna usher in like the end of Xbox. She's gonna be the person that just guides you slowly into the fucking light. That's what she's gonna be, because there's no way. This is clear evidence that what she's doing before all those little things, it's bullshit. It was just PR moves.
Yeah.
So Ty, do you know? Sorry, I didn't see that my audio was on. I was actually just playing the Fable trailer. Do you know that there's no Xbox logos, like Xbox Studios logos, in the trailer for PlayStation?
Wow.
They took it out, yeah.
Like to me, like it's just shit like that. They like just look at it like, oh fuck y'all. Like you guys don't give a fuck. Like Sony does this shit, like, and Sony does this shit so deliberately, like fuck you. Like it's like, and then these guys just do fuck. Like I just look at this and I'm like, yeah, fuck you guys. Like you don't care.
They just gave up, bro. They just, that's all they did. They're fucking pathetic.
I think like a lot of the decisions that has been made that I say comes from the previous administration is that these are the previous administration decisions. It was Phil and Sarah who decided to do it this way. It was them who probably decided to have these studios kind of make what they want to make. lean more towards niche like games, all these things. I think Ash has been trying to like break some of that down and seeing what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. This one is just weird because at the end of the day, this decision was a field decision. I just don't know why Asher and the Xbox team is still choosing to adhere to it, to follow it. Nothing ever makes sense to me. I think if they wanted it to make sense to me, they should just come out straight and say like, we're under contractual obligation to do this, because there's no other reason why this would make sense. But yeah,
this is crazy shit. This is Xbox. I'm never getting another fucking Xbox. I'm never. There's nothing that could convince me.
Well, they've announced that obviously this was a pre-podcast because they clearly knew this wasn't going to go down well with the fans. So they decided to just address it now so people can focus on the showcase itself, the games. The way to kind of get a W here is to essentially show us something at the showcase and something that's going to be good and it's going to make people like happy. But this is the problem. There shouldn't be this world of here's something bad, here's something good. Here's something bad, here's something good. It shouldn't be this back and forth. It's inconsistent. It should just be good, great, good. You know what I mean? That is a flow. You used to be just giving me great news upon great news. And I'll say this, ever since Asher has taken over, this is the first news. And again, I guess it's not material, but it's the first negative news.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true. But
I do think
it's not enough.
From a marketing point of view, she distanced herself from it, so that's good, I suppose. But I mean, like, good for who? Like, good for her. But you people are kind of looking at you now a bit funny, saying, you were doing so well, and now you've kind of fucked it up a little bit. So yeah. And the people who are excited about exclusives, I mean, like, again, why are you just giving people ideas for it? Because now I could start saying to myself is like, well, they would have done it this way. They would have said everything's, not showing everyone's logos, but they realize that like they can't be exclusive. They have to be multi-platform, and if they have to be multi-platform, might as well just show everyone's logos. That's a reasonable assumption.
It's just so weird, dude. Like, they love to explain everything else, but this.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
But anyways, guys, listen, it was fun. It was great chatting away. It's been a while since we've done this because Asha decided to tap out. And she was like, I don't want a podcast no more. So I'm like, fine, bro. I'll pick up the mantle and start doing it again.
Life happens, man. Like I've got like so many things. Look, I just want some downtime to just game because I just understand like I've got so many things happening right now that if I don't just have time to just do something that's calm and relaxing that doesn't need planning and shit, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. So yeah, I'm just taking a well-needed break. But when I'm back, we're full force. Like once everything just sort of slows down, which it will. Yeah, we're back full force. I'll be at it.
No, that's fine. I'll take over. I just need to somehow get in contact with Fuzzy and Rich and everybody who you grew with. They're like, oh, it's actually over here now, fellas. But maybe I'll reach out to them online or something, or we'll see. But listen, anyone who watches, sorry, Cameron, go ahead.
No, bet because yeah, Fridays are my best days.
All right, cool. But listen, I mean, the showcase is coming up, so we'll be doing this next week. We'll do the week after as well. So yeah, to anyone watching this, this is the Talking Games podcast. It's Ken Wall, Taye, Ushers, and you see us with some other people here and there. But yeah, listen, appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next week on the same time. All right, ciao now.